Let's kick it off with this one. This is an original Kiesel from the 40s. You can see this is so early. This is before my grandfather had the current Kiesel logo. And just something really cool to be able to have such a monumental piece in the history of our making of our company. You know, my grandfather was a professional guitar player and started out as a farmer, for those of you guys that don't actually know. And he was in Nebraska. And he would go down to Wichita, Kansas, and he'd be on the radio a couple times a week, you know, as a professional musician, and just had that love of instruments his whole life, you know, crafting them, creating them, making pickups, and gave us this great opportunity to be an instrument company. And just, this is one of the original pieces. And so what I do is from time to time, I will get instruments off Reverb, eBay, pawn shops, you know, music shops online. Sometimes you guys even send me some listings, and I'll buy back a lot of the stuff. I'm really looking for the stuff that says Kiesel on it. Not that I don't have really cool old Carvin guitars in my collection, but the Kiesel ones are a little more significant to me because that was our roots, that was our founding, and it's so cool to see that we're using the same logo that my grandfather started the company with back in 1946. So that's what we're using to this day. So I'm going to kind of bounce around, not necessarily in order of what's on the wall, but maybe a little more chronological. So you look at these guitars here, and getting into the more modern, aggressive shapes in the 80s. And this is our X220. Such a cool instrument. And this is one of my personal guitars. Love it just in, you know, just gloss black, back of the neck, headstock, the smaller Carvin logo. Doesn't have that pointed angled headstock, but still such a cool guitar. These are my dad's 22 pole piece pickups, which were something cutting edge back then. And the idea with a 22 pole piece pickup is as the string articulates, it's staying in between those pole pieces so you don't get that dropout in sound. So it was a great idea. The one thing that it lacked a little bit was some of that string bounce and some of that little more direct sound that the actual individual pole piece gives you. And that's why we went back to an individual pole piece. But my dad was always trying to be an innovator. He did come up with, at the time, it was 4 screws for the bezels. Later went to 3. And the idea here with these screws here, you can pivot the coils. And my dad really should have patented that. If he would have patented that technology, he was the first one. You know, most companies would use a single screw on either side, and then you can have a little cant forward or back. Some of you guys might use foam or something else to kind of get that pickup to lay right where you want. But my dad had this idea back then, and that would have been so cool if he would have patented that technology. But what a cool instrument. Speaking of cool instruments, when I was a kid, I think I would have been about 6 years old or 7 years old. My dad was trying to name this guitar. This is our Ultra V. He was trying to name this, and we were sitting in the hot tub, and at the time I had these Hot Wheel cars, and I was playing with them, and so my dad's trying to come up with this name, and I just spouted out, how about the Ultra V? And here I am, like literally like 7 years old, and my dad loved the name, and he actually named the guitar the Ultra V. And so this was my guitar. This one was never sold. This one is my guitar, and just a really cool translucent blue, maple body, maple neck. Just a great look. Got that angled headstock, large Carvin logo on there. Fixed bridge, but definitely a cool instrument, the Ultra V. Sold a lot of these Ultra Vs, man. It was such a popular guitar for us. All right, then kind of going in order, probably this DC 700. And at the time, we were calling this model a DC7X. And the X standard for extended range. And the extended range is a 27-inch scale. This one features the Kiesel logo for the first time ever on an instrument since the 40s and 50s. And this was actually our very first guitar run. We did a limited run in 2014, and this was a guitar I made for myself, a personal one that I kept with the color-treated blue denim fingerboard. This finish on the body is called Venom in a satin finish, and antique ash body sides, 5-piece walnut maple neck. Just such a cool looking instrument. And still to this day, I mean, this is from 2014, this is still very modern and fresh looking, at least in my opinion. Got the binding on there, the black painted binding, and then the Kiesel individual pole piece pickups. Just such a cool look. And so when we did this run, it was our first try at a guitar run. And what a guitar run is, it's a limited set of options on one model. These were all 27-inch scale. We had no idea how it was going to do. So we launched this guitar run and we capped it at 50. And so we're like, maybe it'll take a couple days to sell 50. We sold out in like 6 hours, 50 27-inch scale guitars, and they were all priced, I think we were like $1,700 and up. You know, this one with all the customization was beyond that, of course, but this is just an example that I ended up keeping, and, you know, getting that volume knob out of the way, I love that. Just such a cool looking instrument. All right, so then after the DC7X, the Aries, probably Zach's guitar. I'm going to say this would probably be the next one in succession, or Gliok. Actually, it was Gliok because I remember we cut the top in the old building. So this is the next one. So, a little double neck action. Those of you guys know I'm a Star Wars fan, but you might not know that I am a Legend of Zelda fan. And so when I say Zelda, it's the original Nintendo, the NES, the gray one, you know, the little four-way button or four-way controller with the 2 buttons. I played that a lot as a kid. I still have my Nintendo. I still have Zelda. And Gliok was the double-headed dragon in that video game. So I made a double neck, called it Gliok. And it features a 1-piece Buckeye top, which we had to cut on the bandsaw. It's kind of sketchy cutting it, to be honest. And we kept it really thick. The actual top is pretty thick. Then we did the EVO frets. We did the gold and black hardware. Of course, the cream and black zebra pickups. And so this was all hand cut out by myself and hand routed just to get all that great comfort and just a neat looking instrument. Definitely a cool piece for those Zelda fans out there. All right, then it would be Zach's guitar after that. So the runs were doing really good for us, these limited edition runs. And so when my son turned, I think he was 17, if I remember right, he did his own run. So this was Zach's run. So this would have been 2017. It was in this building. And this was a limited run of solo guitars. So this is one I commissioned him to make me. And this was, he called it Not So Green, I believe. It was either almost green or not so green. I think it was not so green. I can't remember. But Zach did all the custom work on this. You know, colored the body, did the necks with the Kiesel color treatment, the neck and the fingerboard. And just such a great looking instrument. This is one of the instruments there is no way I would ever sell because it means so much to me, you know, having my son do that for me, and just so cool. I just love it. And I look at this instrument, it makes me feel so good. You know, having my kids involved has been so amazing, and the work they've done is just so great. You guys might not know this, but I held them off from working here until they were about 13. And then, you know, slowly introduced them into working here, you know, sweeping the shop, to loading CNC machines, to doing, you know, hand sanding, shaping, finishes, things like that. And so they're pretty diverse. And so we're trying to just increase that diversity with the kids and just not hold them back, see what they can think of next. So that's the solo model. All right. Okay. After that would be Actually, I missed one. This one would have been in front of the solo. So much for that timeline. So this is Koa Angel. This is a K series. And why this guitar is so important. This guitar is the very first guitar that we finished start to finish in this new facility. So this would have been started in 2016. And when I say started and finished, I mean we made the neck here, thermal treated the neck, we did everything. Of course we finished other instruments up before this one, but no other instrument was created from scratch in this building before this one. And so this is my personal guitar. It features what I would call a K-top, one-piece flame Koa back. Got a master grade flame maple stripe. Master grade flame Koa body. You can see that neck. I mean, I don't even have to tell you that that's master grade, maple and Koa. Of course, Kiesel editions have matching headstocks. And then you look at the front. And so this one was easy to name, right? Because this, to me, looked like a wing coming out, right? If you were to imagine an angel in the middle and you have this wing coming out, and then you look at it on the other side, you have a matching wing the opposite way. So we named it Koa Angel. And it is beautiful. It's got the flame maple pickups, Royal Ebony fretboard. And this guitar, I remember my dad saw it and was like, wow, that thing's amazing. And then saw the body. And was like, you literally used master grade flame Koa for the body? I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, you know how much that is? I'm like, yeah, I know how much that is. So this is my personal guitar that, kind of marked a big change for us moving into this facility, a modern facility. Not that our old facility wasn't amazing, but we got so many improvements here, from better lighting, better dust collection to keep a cleaner environment. That goes a long way when you're working on things and you can see even better. Not that our old building we couldn't see good, but this building is bright in here. You can see every little imperfection, and at first that was hard for us because we saw so many little imperfections, but it made us better. So that was the biggest thing going to this new state-of-the-art facility, was just being able to be that much better at what we do. All right, so that's the K series. All right, now, done with those. Let's see here. Osiris. This would be the next in line. This Osiris, if you don't know Jason Becker, you're missing out. This is a Jason Becker tribute Osiris. And we did a limited run of 100 pieces. This is number 2. You can still kind of see it. Number 2 out of 100. Jason has number 1. And then there's 98 out there that we sold. I still get people to this day saying, I wish I would have got one. I want one so bad. Guys, if we do limited editions, especially with an artist like Jason, just know when we say this is it, that means that's it. So jump at those opportunities when you have them, because this is definitely a piece of history, art, and it's priceless, because we're never going to redo this Osiris Numbers guitar. This is it. Features the Seymour Duncan pickups, his perpetual burn in the bridge. It's a signature pickup. Just such an amazing guitar, and I love it. Had this on display for Connect, and I had a lot of people trying to buy it, and it's not for sale. So we try to hold on to things. All right, so the K series was so popular that we made a headless K series version. And this is it. This is our headless K series. This is an Arctic finish, and it goes from a teal into just traditional Arctic blue. Look at that back. This is our 75th anniversary guitar. Every one of these gets the 75th little logo on there engraved in the wooden plate. They all get 7-piece necks. Gotta love that swamp ash antiqued body. And just looking at all the beauty this thing has. The abalone inlays. Such a rad instrument. I love that top. Master grade top. All right. And I guess we got our last one. This is my most recent guitar that the custom shop surprised me with. So this is our Lightspeed. You guys know I am a Star Wars nerd. So we have the Hyperdrive, which is the headstock version of this guitar, and then we made the Lightspeed. This has neon paint, neon activated paint, so when you use a black light, it actually activates this paint and it looks wild. And so the custom shop was so cool. They know I'm a fan of the movie Predator, and this is Predator Vision, but a neon version. And when you get it under those lights, it just looks so badass. They even bought me my own light so that, you know, when I finally do take it home, I can display it and have my own neon light. But what a cool model. Neck through construction, multi-scale, of course, as you can see. You know, painted the pickups to match and did a little knob and switch tip just to kind of set it off really cool.